property management of someone's valuable asset. A valuable asset such as a multifamily, maybe single families, maybe large apartment complexes. All in all, a property manager manages many moving parts on a day-to-day basis. And one of those important moving parts is finding tenants, good tenants that are long-term for our client landlords' investment properties. And another important part of property management is enforcing the lease agreement, which is a contract. In real estate, all of us realtors, we learn mostly contract law, particular law, contract law of our state, in my case, Colorado, and of their particular state. So we enforce contract law. So we understand contract law. And contract law requires at least two parties. And those two parties are parties to the contract, which is enforced and upheld by lawful government. Well, when the CDC came in, the Center of Disease Control came in, they, in effect, nulled and voided that contract between two private parties. The CDC, who is a third entity floating around out there, suddenly shut that down, crushing and disrupting many of our livelihoods and our investment properties. So we're going to take a bit of a look at that and what we're doing about that. Hi, I'm CJ Wells, property manager here in Denver, Colorado. Let's take a look at some of these things. But before we go, you may want to know, who am I? And I'll share my screen to show you a little bit of that. Here's my LinkedIn profile, CJ Wells, property manager, realtor at Invalesco Real Estate. I manage, protect, and care for your property investments as much as you do. They're very important. And here is my real estate company, Invalesco Real Estate, development, residential real estate, and you can join Invalesco as a developer. So we are very broad. So let's take a look though at what is going on in our country. Well, I am a member of the National Association of Residential Property Managers. You know, it's a good thing that as property managers get together and join forces, so to speak, to keep an eye on decrees and mandates that may be coming down that are unlawful and that are hurting our investor landlords, and in a roundabout way, also our tenants. So let's read what NARPM, that is the National Association of Residential Property Managers, is up to. Now these actions began in November of 2020, but this is what happened is NARPM joins the third suit against the eviction moratorium recommended by the CDC. NARPM joined this against the CDC eviction moratorium, partnering with the National Apartment Association and the New Civil Liberties Alliance as amici in a case for Ohio Skyworks Limited versus CDC that challenges the moratorium. Now, this is kind of old, this article, but this is a very good trend because property managers, we have to keep an eye on trends, rental trends, if they're going up, if they're going down, as well as equity trends in real estate, investment real estate, which we sure had to change with that via Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, but that was another video I did. So let's read this a little bit about this moratorium and this lawsuit against the CDC, which is a federal organization of the health department that is funded by pharmaceutical companies. The CDC is funded by pharmaceutical companies who are financially invested in developing vaccines of all types. In this case, property owners in Ohio have filed a suit against the moratorium based on the following. And Ohio did win this suit against the CDC. A federal judge voted in favor of this Ohio case. So this is the gist of it. which is happening across our country. Congress has authorized the CDC to take certain steps to stop the spread of communicable diseases across state lines, but that does not cover a sweeping action like a nationwide moratorium on evictions. You destroy livelihoods that way, and that's why we have laws. And that's why we have the Constitution. The CDC is essentially making laws, which is naughty, which the Constitution reserves to Congress and our legislators who represent you and I as citizens. The CDC ignored official rulemaking procedures, which require giving notice to affected parties and giving them and the public a chance to comment before the CDC issues official regulations. The property owners teamed with the Pacific Legal Foundation, and this is Ohio, by the way. The property owners of Ohio teamed with the Pacific Legal Foundation and the National Association of Home Builders in their filing. NARPM and the National Association of Apartment Owners with the New Civil Liberties Alliance joined the case as amici in support of the property owners and the NAHB. And let's take a quick peek at this lawsuit. Here I have it highlighted, and this was, if you can see, it was filed in November of 2020. And it is Skyworks, and this is the Ohio representative of property managers, of investor landlords. That's the plaintiff against the US CDC. And what this reads, I mean, it's very good and it's very lawful what they spoke here. The New Civil Liberties Alliance, the National Apartment Association, and the National Association of Residential Property Managers, NARPM, which I'm a member of, request leave to file a brief in support of plaintiff's motion for a preliminary injunction against the CDC, in effect. In support of amici curiae, state as follows. The New Civil Liberties Alliance, in a nonpartisan, nonprofit civil rights organization and public interest law firm devoted to defending constitutional freedoms. The Constitution is a lawful body of laws. So we should probably follow them, huh? The civil liberties of the organization's name include rights at least as old as the US Constitution itself, such as jury trial, due process of law, the right to be tried in front of an impartial and independent judge, and the right to live under laws made by the nation's elected lawmakers, you know, our legislatures, through constitutionally prescribed channels. That process that this legal brief points out is what makes our civilization civilized, are laws like this, and in observing them and following them. Yet these self-same rights are also very contemporary and in dire need of renewed vindication, precisely because Congress, federal administrative agencies like CDC, and sometimes even the courts have trampled them for so long. So we have come to a pain point where we really have to get together as investors, as landlords, as property managers, and enforce the laws that make our country affluent and great, and that enable us to make these investments and profit by them very much in many ways, as well as our tenants. So that is a bit of an update of what's going on legally in enforcing our laws to protect our livelihoods and our investment. As a property manager, that is my job, and that's what I do in partnership as a team member with my investor landlords, and also in caring for my tenants, because that property must be maintained, be kept clean and healthy, and only by paying rent is that possible. That's both sides of the equation, and that's what works, and we know it does because we have the affluence to prove it. So this is CJ Wells, property manager in the Denver metro area. Feel free to give me a call. My cell phone number is 720-203-6354. This is CJ. Bye.